Welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about who should get the next one-shot Naruto manga. Of course, Minato came out with a one-shot manga based on based on a poll that was given out by Kishimoto saying who wants a one-shot basically by any character in the series, and he would legit made a story for any character in the series. Of course, the problem with this, and my problem with it inherently, was that it was always going to turn into a popularity contest. For example, Itachi was always at the top of the polls. Minato was always at the top of the polls. Now, these are characters that we know, the characters that we love, of course, characters that have skill sets, cool characters that we want to see more of, but I would just like to see more of the unknown characters. For example, Sakumo Hatake, we know that he is the father of Kakashi. He is as strong, if not stronger than the three Sannin when they were fighting in the second Shinobi War or the third Shinobi War, but we just never get to see a chance to see his power. And then you have the other characters, Fugaku Uchiha, who had the accomplishments that can rival Minato in terms of being the fourth Hokage. Of course, we don't know if he is that strong since we have no feats, nothing about him. Of course, except for the sake of he may have had the chance to control the Nine Tails. That's it, right? And then there's other characters that could be far more interesting Boruto. You could even have Neji's father. You could have, I wouldn't even mind a Hanabi sideshow. There's so many characters that deserve a one shot, but I'm going to talk about the character I think that deserves the one shot the most, and it is Fugaku Uchiha and or Prime Hiruzen. Now, for Fugaku Uchiha, as I stated earlier, his accomplishments, at least stated in filler, I haven't read the Itachi Hidan novel in a long time, that his accomplishments levels next to the fourth Hokage. Now, this was said by an Uchiha member, so maybe it's a little bit biased, and of course his accomplishments aren't really recognized in the Leaf because he's an Uchiha, because he's been outcasted, because there's such a negative connotation against the Uchiha and the Leaf Village. So it makes sense that his achievements, though great and though he is powerful, just isn't applauded by everyone, which understandably made the Uchiha upset. But I would like to see Fugaku in his younger years, his Susanoo, his Mangekyo. Did he ever get the EMS? The EMS from where? Was him and Minato ever involved in a fight together? Was a Fugaku and Minato fight would feed families? You cannot tell me y'all wouldn't be hyped for a Fugaku and Minato fight. And this comes off the basis of Kishimoto may be interested in doing another one shot in the future, maybe a couple of years down. But with Fugaku, there's just so much story to tell because there's so much little of the Uchiha story in general. We know that the Uchiha had a twisted backstory, right? But they did some good. Kagami Uchiha, straight. Fugaku Uchiha did good, protected the village, even though they were hated on. They knew what was important, and that was the Leaf itself. Even Tobirama acknowledged their strength and used them in sources of combat and sources of making them the police, as they will get the information quite fast and can swiftly put the crimes away via their genjutsu. So, expand on that. We know we probably won't get. We know that Naruto content is very limited towards us, as Boruto is the main, it's up front and personal now, since Naruto is basically sealed within the show. But there's so much Naruto characters you could expand on. Fugaku. And now, like I said, Prime Hiruzen was stated to be stronger than all the Hokage previously of him. Of course, he is not stronger than, I would like to say, Minato, and then, or Naruto. Yeah, not stronger than those two. But over the course, we only get to see him fight in his old age. Even when he comes back via Orochimaru for the final Great Ninja War, right? He's old. we don't get to see Prime Hiruzen. And granted, Reanimated did buff Hiruzen in that aspect, giving him much more chakra, much more access to his techniques that he used. But he has some sort of Sage mode, or some sort of Sage chakra, as course, because Menma is a Sage beast. Why does he have this? Does he have Sage mode? Of course, there's only about 4 or 5 people in the series that have Sage mode. Well, perfect Sage mode in general. Hashirama, Naruto, Jiraiya, Minato, though doesn't use it. And there's one other one. And potentially Konohamaru, if they ever give it to him. It should have been Konohamaru, but I'll say those 4 for now. Right? Why don't we ever get to see a flashback of Prime Hiruzen, especially since they brought up what he could do in his prime, being the strongest Hokage? Now, of course, there's people in the village that gave him that title, because there's remnants of people that was left over from the first Hokage and the second Hokage. And the first Hokage lived quite long because he got to see Tsunade be born, unless there was just young mothers. But he got to see Tsunade grow up a little bit before he passed and was brought back in his prime. Tobirama became Hokage, died in his prime, as we know. Hiruzen died, old man, but his prime was impeccable. What made him so strong? We know he knows all the jutsus in the catalog, forbidden ones and the ones that are taught. Show us. Show us. And the only fight we get to see when he's alive, he's a little bit tainted because he doesn't really want to fight Orochimaru. He want to be like, yo, Orochimaru, stop doing bad. Orochimaru says, nah, I gotta scientifically make myself perfect. He was like, why? I gotta stop you. Orochimaru's like, why? Alright. And they do this little battle, but Hiruzen is slightly off in this battle. So why can't Hiruzen get his own one-shot? He's the only Hokage out of Kakashi, Tsunade, Naruto, Minato, Tobirama, and Tobirama and Hashirama that we don't get to see his prime. We just don't get to see it and what he can offer from his prime. And of course, he should have Sage mode via Monkey King Enma in terms of all that. So I would just like to see way more. Anyway, that's who I would think would get the next one shot, rather Prime Hiruzen and or Fugaku. But just saying, if it went up to a poll again, it would be Itachi, because you would have to remove Minato from this equation. Anyway, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.